Once upon a time, during a cold winter, a queen sat sewing by her window as snow fell outside. She pricked her finger, and drops of red blood fell onto the white snow. Seeing the contrast, she wished for a child with skin as white as snow, lips as red as blood, and hair as black as ebony. Soon after, she gave birth to a beautiful baby girl who looked exactly as she had wished. They named her Snow White. Sadly, the queen died shortly afterward. A year later, the king married again. His new wife was very beautiful but proud, cruel, and jealous. She owned a magic mirror and asked it every day who was the fairest of all. The mirror always praised her until Snow White grew older. When Snow White was only 7, her beauty surpassed the queen's. One day, the mirror told the queen that Snow White was fairer. Furious with jealousy, the queen ordered a huntsman to take Snow White into the forest, kill her, and bring back her heart. The huntsman led Snow White into the woods, but when she begged for her life, he took pity on her and let her go. To deceive the queen, he killed a wild boar and brought its heart instead. Believing Snow White was dead, the queen was satisfied. Alone and frightened, Snow White wandered through the forest until she found a small cottage. Inside were 7 little plates, cups, and beds. Exhausted and hungry, she tasted the food and fell asleep on one of the beds. That night, 7 dwarfs returned home and discovered her. Charmed by her innocence, they allowed her to stay with them. Snow White told them her story, and they promised to protect her, warning her never to open the door to strangers. When the queen learned from her mirror that Snow White was still alive and living with the dwarfs, she disguised herself and went to the cottage. First, she tricked Snow White with tight laces, nearly killing her, but the dwarfs saved her. The queen returned again with a poisoned comb, and once more, Snow White collapsed until the dwarfs removed it. Despite their warnings, Snow White was deceived a 3rd time when the queen brought a poisoned apple. After taking a bite, Snow White fell lifeless to the ground. The dwarfs were heartbroken and placed her in a glass coffin on a mountain. One day, a prince passing through the forest saw Snow White and was deeply moved by her beauty. When his servants carried the coffin away, Taste tumbled, causing the poisoned apple to fall from her throat. Snow White awoke, and the prince asked her to become his wife. She agreed, and a grand wedding was held. The wicked queen attended the wedding and discovered that Snow White was alive and now the queen. As punishment for her cruelty, she was condemned. While Snow White and the prince ruled their kingdom with kindness and joy, Snow White never forgot the 7 dwarfs, who remained her honored friends, and they all lived happily ever after.